the screen as well within big.
I'm just copying your stuff at the moment. Try again.
Hey guys, can you hear me? I can't hear anybody. You can hear me? Okay, great. Well, welcome. How are you doing? I'm doing well, thank you. If I looked a bit bushwhacked, that's because I really feel that way. I'm a bit jet lagged having just flown in, but I'm looking forward to being here and to doing module 6 and 7 with you. And it's going to be an interesting and exciting module. And I hope you find a lot of value in it. Now we've sent out all of the readings. I sent this out twice. I sent this out about 3 weeks ago, and then I sent this out last week as well. I hope you were able to receive it. But I'm on a lot of these WhatsApp groups, and I get the sense that not all of you have received the links or the readings. I can't understand why not. But in any event, it is also available on the electronic learning management system. Now each one of you has the password and has the username for the learning management system, so you can go out there and get the readings as well. You remember can also access all previous content using the electronic learning management system. So for those of you who are on, I am assuming you got the readings. Yes? Did you get it? You got it? Okay, good. Did any of you have a chance to read through them?
Not everything, Prof.
Not everything, okay. But I can assure you, once you do read it, well, it's going to make far more sense after today and after tomorrow, okay? And you'll kind of understand why we have actually titled this whole program a high reliability approach to leadership. So if you remember, it's an executive leadership development program, but a high reliability approach. So kind of all the content that you're going to get today, tomorrow, and your final module next month is essentially focuses on that aspect of high reliability. And I thought it's pretty important. You know, it's a established kind of type of leadership, and I thought it's extremely important that we bring that philosophical approach and embed it in the South African public health sector. So we have already started with high reliability leadership in health services. We're doing it now with social services. We're looking at public services. We're looking at police, etc. Because it's just such an important component of leadership, especially in the public health sector. So what we're going to do is basically over the next 2 days is focus on defining this concept of reliability. And then introduce this concept of what high reliability means in the context of organizations, and then talk about the value and why high reliability makes sense to us in the public sector. And then what I want to do is go through a case with you. So we're going to show you a video case and then work through that with you. This is a real case, an event that really happened that actually led to the genesis of high reliability organizations. Show you the case, discuss it, and then highlight those aspects that are critically important moving forward. And then of course we flesh out what does that mean in the context of social services leadership. Okay, so we're going to do all of that. And then the second part of this is what I have called quantitative methodology. Now, I know a lot of people get very intimidated when they hear the term quantitative. It's kind of, well, means mathematics, it means statistics, it means numbers, and people, especially in the kind of softer disciplines, get a bit nervous. But I just want to allay a feel. We're going to be doing some statistical calculations, but they're very, very simple and something that you and I should be able to do very, very easily. Remember, the whole concept about high reliability leadership is actually leading by numbers. Okay, so you aren't able to manage what you aren't able to measure. And kind of today and tomorrow and then the following module is all about teaching you how to be able to measure these things, critical functions and critical processes, critical outcomes in your organization. So you almost, for lack of a better term, adopt a leadership style that is data-driven. Okay, and the output of that is that you're able to offer whatever services you do very reliably. So that's kind of the whole essence of these next few modules. Okay, it's very interesting. It's certainly an area that I have a lot of interest in, and I do a lot of work in this area as well. So anybody has any questions about today and tomorrow? Any questions? Okay, if you have no questions, and before I move on, I also want you to please share the links with friends and colleagues that are doing the program that may or may not have received it for whatever reason. So feel free to post these links out to them, and I think even if they're able to join a bit later, they'll find a lot of value in this. And if anybody doesn't have any questions, I guess we can kind of get started into understanding this concept of high reliability and what that means. The key word in that whole phrase, high reliability organizations, and we actually kind of abbreviated, we call it HROs. Okay? So if you hear the term HRO, that actually refers to a high reliability organization. And ultimately what we want to do is refer to social services units as high reliability organizations. Okay? What is the key word in this? What is the key word in that, in HROs? What is the key word there? Anybody? Absolutely. Vic, can you get the volume up there so I can hear? Absolutely. Reliability is the key word. Okay? Reliability. And we have to understand this concept of reliability. Now, who can help me by defining reliability? What does reliability mean to you? What does reliability mean to you? Hello? Sorry? Can I watch that?
Dependable.
It's dependable, okay. Dependable. What else? What is reliability? Sorry?
Trustworthy.
Trustworthy. Okay. What else? Accuracy. Good. Anything else? Efficiency plus effectiveness. Okay, what else? You're tempted to add quality, okay. What else? Timeliness, okay. What else? Consistency. Consistency, good. What else? So you know, it's kind of all, you're getting the message, and all of these kind of words all suggest something that for you now kind of aggregating as reliability. So if I say to you, can you actually give me an example if you want to illustrate the definition of reliability? So let's assume you're a TV salesperson. Okay, you're a TV salesperson, and the message you want to convey to the customer is that your TV is a very reliable TV. That's the message you want to convey. How would you frame that advert? The point you want is it's reliable. How would you frame that kind of advert? How would you explain to them that your TV is reliable? Anybody? Okay. Okay. So you said a whole lot of things, but if you have to take out from that the part that describes the reliability of the TV, what part would that be? I liked your long advert, but there's one part that you can take out that gives a sense of how reliable your TV is. Okay, so when you switch on, you see what you want to see. Okay, good. But is that reliability? Is that reliability? Okay, warranty and guarantee. Okay, but right. So we've got to put all of this together. Everybody is kind of has pieces of this. We've got to synthesize this into a short tagline. Come on. The number of sets sold does not speak to the reliability of the TV. You may be a good salesperson. What I want to know is the message we want to convey is our TV is reliable. Yeah, go ahead. So reliability, we use this concept all the time, but you're actually grappling and having great difficulty of trying to explain to me what reliability is. But it's kind of not that difficult. Anybody else? Come, build on what we already have. Build on what we already have. If something is reliable, what does it mean?
I think it means it's trustworthy. You can trust it.
You can trust it, okay, yeah, we got trustworthy there. But what else? Okay, quality is a broad term. I'm honing in on the word reliability. Something is reliable.
Something that performs consistently.
Consistency, yes, we've got consistency here. We've got consistency. Something you can depend on. That's one thing. So we switch on the TV, you see what you're going to see. That's right. That's half the equation. What's the other half of the equation? It never It never betrays expectations. Yes, okay. So there's two components to reliability. Okay, one is functionality. Okay, so remember, reliability equals to functionality. A lot of you are focused on that. It works. No complaints. It switches on. I can depend on it. That's functionality. Okay? So functionality is half of reliability. What is the other half? Over a period of time. That is what reliability actually means. Like, there's two components to it. The fact that it works, but it's going to work for a long time. So the fact that you can switch on your TV and see the picture you want to see, but if you're only able to do that for 2 days, that's not a reliable TV. Okay, but for something that's going to give you a consistently good picture over 20 years, that is something that's reliable. Or that you can drive a car for hundreds of thousands of kilometers without having any problems. So that's the time frame, and that's the functionality. The car works, but over a prolonged time period. Okay, so there's this important definition. You have to understand there's two components to reliability. It is a function of functionality, and it is a function of time. Okay, that something should work and deliver over a period of time. That is the level of, that describes the extent to which a service or a product is reliable. Okay, and you kind of have to answer and understand this concept, because what we're going to get you to do throughout the next few modules is, well, how do we inculcate this concept of reliability into everything that we do? Okay? Into everything. So, what would a reliability statement be for, say at a client interaction? So the client comes into your office to see you. What would a reliability statement be that you would put on the door so that when the client walks in and sees this little statement, they get a sense of how reliable you are or your service is? Now, I'll give you some hints. You know, you go to some factories and they when you enter there, it says 0 accidents in the last 360 days. Have you seen that? Have you guys seen those signs at factories? Yeah, it's a reliability statement. What they're trying to say is that it's a safe workplace. It really doesn't matter from a product point of view, but if you're somebody who's looking for a job, then that matters to you. I mean, I don't know why they advertise that to the public, because the public really, frankly, doesn't give a damn whether you have any accidents or not. What they want is a high quality, cheap product that comes from you. But from a point of view of a potential employee or an employee, knowing that this is a safe place, you know, adds some value. So what would the equivalent be that you could put up on your door to suggest how reliable you are? Noting that reliability is 2 components, functionality and time. Give me an example.
If it does not meet the service does not meet your expectation, you'll get full refund.
That's not reliability. That's not reliability.
Prof, what about if we say providing dependable services since the dawn of democracy?
Okay. I mean, since the dawn of democracy, so you're trying to say, okay, for what, 30 years something has been happening?
Yes.
You know, okay, I will buy that, but I want something on your door. What are you going to put on your door? Do you see clients? Do you see clients? Yes. So when the client walks into your office, they should see, but we don't have any reliability statements. They should see a little reliability statement, and the reliability statement should allude to either, you know, something to do with client services, something to do with what you do, etc. So what would something like that read? That's what I'm trying to get at.
We serve with pride.
Sorry?
We serve with pride.
We serve with pride is not a reliability statement, because it's more a marketing statement.
Okay, Prof, can I try?
Yes.
Okay, it would be in the draw number 1. You should see the name of the person there and the time, maybe to indicate that from 7:30 we are opening, and then we've got lunch time between 1 and 2, and then we're knocking off at 4:30. Then our client, when they come, they will see how we provide the service.
Okay, so yeah. I know where you're kind of going with this. I wanted you to build on. I like that time kind of concept that you were introducing, but not kind of quite there. I mean, okay, let me frame this. You walk into a receptionist area at a doctor's surgery, okay? And there should be a sign in front there that talks to how reliable the doctor is in terms of seeing patients on time. What would that reliability statement say? noting that there's functionality over time.
The other thing, I'm thinking of the waiting period.
Yes, now give me a reliability statement that conveys the message that you are consistently, trustworthily, on all of these things you gave me, see somebody within a certain time. So put that into a little statement for me.
Maybe if I can try.
Yes.
I'm thinking a maximum waiting period of 15 minutes to be served.
Right.
Half an hour.
Good. Okay, so we're getting there. Okay, so that's the time period, but you want that functionality. So you can say something like, sorry, I can't hear you, ma'am.
Everything that is going to happen in here is going to be confidential.
Everything that's going to happen here is going to be confidential.
Confidential, okay, so we can frame that as a reliability statement because the confidentiality is the functionality. Okay, but let's go to that waiting time in the doctor's surgery. Okay, so if I say over the last 30 years of practice, 99% of patients were seen within 10 minutes. Can you read that? When you read this, do you get a sense of the reliability from a waiting time point of view at the doctor's surgery?
Yes, Prof.
This is what reliability is. There's a time frame there and there's a functionality. The functionality means that you will be seen. That's the service. The time frame is that 30 years. Plus we got another component in which is kind of a confidence interval, the 99%. So over the last 30 years of service, 99% of all patients are seen within 10 minutes. Okay, so that is when you read that, what you immediately get is you get the sense that, well, this is consistent, it's been happening regularly, and the product that within 10 minutes has been happening all this time for the overwhelming majority of people. That's what reliability is. Okay? So now frame me a reliability statement. Yes? Yeah, hi. Yeah.
So I don't know if it can also assist in terms of functionality.
Well, functionality and somebody mentioned this right up the front. Functionality. You said something about zero complaints. Zero complaints is a proxy measure for functionality. So if you've had no returns over the last 25 years, that's functionality and time. Or if you've had no breakdowns over a long period, that's a kind of reflection of functionality. Or if the interval between breakdowns is very high, that's a symbol of functionality, of reliability. Selling a lot of TVs or the picture being good is half the equation. That you can have consistently good pictures over the 20 years. That's a reliability statement. Okay? Or your car can drive 100,000 kilometers without requiring a service. That's a reliability statement. That we will see clients within 10 minutes of arrival. Or that patients we have 0 inpatient infections in our ICU over the last 5 years. So it is, in the airplane industry, they may say, well, we've had 99% of our flights over the last 5 years have been on-time departures. That's a reliability statement, because if you take that airline, that you've got a pretty good chance that you're going to leave on time. We've had 0 accidents over the last 100 years. That's a reliability. Okay? So you have to kind of understand this concept of reliability. And the one thing that amazes me is in healthcare and in social services and in all services related to people and in the public sector in general, we make no attempt to convey the message of reliability to our clients and to the public. Because frankly, we behave in the public sector like reliability is not important. Okay? And frankly, if you speak to the public, and if you get a sense, and for those of you who attended the last module on client experience, reliability is something that we should communicate to our clients. Reliability, irrespective of whether it's wait time, reliability, whether it's related to how efficiently we can pull out your records, reliability in terms of, the consultation time with you, reliability in terms of how efficacious our advice and suggestions are going to be. We have to do that, because as clients and as customers ourselves, in other aspects of our lives, that's kind of what we really want. Okay? We want to engage in a service or with a service provider that's reliable, meaning they're able to consistently deliver a good service or a good product. Okay? Now, it's extremely important that you understand this concept of reliability. It's extremely important that when you go back and in your organizations, we start, and I kind of did the same program with healthcare managers. Have you ever walked into any hospital in South Africa and read a reliability statement? Have you? Has anybody seen a reliability statement at any hospital in South Africa? Shouldn't that worry you?
No.
But aren't you as a customer or a patient, shouldn't you see something like that?
I think, Prof,
Go ahead.
I think they do have, it's just that you dependent upon there's so much written in their walls. Probably you might have read about it or something, or maybe you read it, but you're not aware that
We can't hear you clearly.
Well, I think you'd be hard-pressed. You'd be very hard-pressed to find, I certainly in my 30 years of practicing have never seen any reliability statements. You cannot walk into an orthopedic unit and read something that says that 99% of our patients walk within 3 days of receiving a hip transplant. I've never seen that. I've never walked into a postnatal ward and seen a sign that 100% of our patients are discharged within 2 days of having a cesarean section. I've never been to an ICU where it says that we've had 0 hospital-acquired infections over the last 2 or 3 years. You don't see that. Okay? And to me, it's a big disservice to the clients, to the patients. And one of the reasons that we don't do that is, one, because we don't see the importance of it, which is pretty crazy. Okay, that's taking our customers and clients and patients for granted. And the second is that we don't have the data to be able to make those statements. Okay? And this is why I said data, reliability and quantitative methodology go together. Because you can't just make statements. You have to make the reliability statement based on actual data that you have. Okay? You can't claim to see clients within 10% of arrival. Sorry, within 10 minutes of arrival. You can't say, well, 85% of patients over the last 5 years have been seen within 10 minutes of arrival if you have not collected the data over 10 years. So what we see now, sorry, was that somebody saying something?
Yes, I wanted to find out something.
Yeah, go ahead.
I need to know if there's a link between the service standards that we have and the reliability statement that you are talking about.
Between the service funder.
The service standards that we have as a department and the reliability statement that you're talking about.
No. The reliability statement is operational level. It's at your unit. This is what I'm doing. So if I walk into your offices, you know, the wait time has got nothing to do with your funding.
Okay, say I have a statement related to foster care.
Right.
If our standard says that foster care placement has to occur within 3 months after it has been reported, don't you think I can convert that into a reliability statement to say 40% or 50% or whatever percentage of our foster care placements occurred within the 3
Yes.
months?
That's it. That's it. Because it's real data. You're using real data. Okay, and the really good thing about this is it becomes a moving target. I mean, ideally, you want to be what? You want to be 100% reliable, or you want to be 0% unreliable. Okay? And what we're going to get at is when you make those reliability statements, it has implications for how you set up your operations. Because if you're going to make a claim that the TV is going to switch on first time, every time for the next 20 years, you have to be able to design that switch in such a way that it actually does that for 20 years. So reliability statements and high levels of reliability, low levels of unreliability have massive operational implications. If you want a reliability statement, 95% of clients are seen within 10 minutes of arrival. There's something that has to happen at the back end that's going to ensure or enable you to meet that reliability statement. Okay, so reliability ties in very, very closely to operations. Because it has a lot of implications. But a really good question. Yes? Go ahead. I'm listening. Hello? Was that a question? Did I get a question? You covered, okay. So we have to understand. So so remember, reliability comprises two components: functionality, the delivery of the service, working product, but it has to have a time frame. And then the third component you add to that is a confidence interval. Is how confident are you? Now these are all statistical calculations that we will get to tomorrow. Okay, so three components: functionality, time, and confidence interval. Okay, so we can assure you with a confidence level of 95% that 85% of our clients are seen within 10% of arrival. That is what a full reliability statement would be like. Now let's kind of drill down and see, walk me through a process with a typical client consultation. Okay? What is a typical client consultation in a social services office? Walk me through that process. What happens? The client arrives where? Can somebody walk me through? Hello? Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, walk me through. What happens? The client arrives. Client arrives at security, good. Now?
Then from the security, go to the screener.
Goes to the screener. Screener.
Yes.
Goes to the screener. COVID screening. Okay, and then?
Then from there, we are going to the social auxiliary for screening.
They go to the social officer.
Yeah.
Right?
Then after screening, you will be referred to the relevant social worker.
Okay, but don't they open a file somewhere? Don't they have to get a file or open a file or register? Yes or no? Do they have to register?
Hello. When the client goes to the social auxiliary worker for screening, then it will be determined whether this is a new client or an existing client. If it is an existing client, then the social auxiliary worker will take out the file and refer to the social worker.
Okay, so let's assume this is a new client. The social officer screening will open the file.
Yes, we'll complete the identifying particulars of the client.
ID and file. Okay, and then refer to the social worker and then?
Then the client will get consultation with the social worker.
Consultation and then? What are the possible outcomes? Just roughly.
There might be a possibility that there is preparation for assessment of that particular client, or maybe they also need to be referred somewhere as part of the intervention.
Okay, so just give me refer to where? Any one referral.
Either they can be referred internally or externally. If it's internally, they might be referred to other services that are rendered within the social service, or they might be referred to the hospital or to the clinic.
Okay. So this is a generic process. Are we all in agreement? The person arrives, okay, they are screened at security, they then go for COVID screening, they're screened by a social officer, that would essentially complete their registration, and then they're directed towards the social worker for the consultation, and the social worker arrives at an assessment evaluation and then refers the client on. Are we in agreement that is a generic kind of process? Okay?
If I might come,
Yes.
if I might come in, after the screening, an intake form need to be completed by the social worker.
Okay, that's here.
Yeah. After the screening, an intake form is being completed by the social worker.
It's the same social worker that does the consultation.
Then that intake goes to the supervisor, who puts the supervisor's note on it, and then a file is being opened if the client has to go deeper into the system of TSD.
Okay. So the screening, it goes to the social worker who fills in the intake form, sends this to the supervisor, intake form, and the supervisor can then decide whether they come back to social services. Like that.
Yes.
And then the referral happens.
The supervisor put the supervisor's note.
Right.
If that client needs to go deeper into the DSD system for social work services, then a file is being opened.
Okay.
And then that file is referred to the social worker who's going to work with the case.
Okay. So, yes, go ahead. Yeah.
That process varies from one province to the other,
Yeah.
from one district to the other, depending on the resources that are available. Because in some instances, you find that a client from the gate, he or she moves directly to the social worker.
Okay.
To decide on whatever intervention has to be taken.
Okay. But generally the flow is pretty similar. There'll be some adaptations based on provinces and based on regions and offices, etc. But essentially the flow is the same. Essentially.
I'm not so sure, but the sequence is the concern for me because from what the data speaker said, it seems to be different from how we do things from one office to the other.
Okay. Give me your sequence. How does it work with you?
In some instances, you find that the client arrives at the main office. I mean, the main gate, and from the main gate, that particular person is screened and directed to the social worker's office. And that's where an intake will be done, and that particular intake is not even being taken to the supervisor. The very same social worker will decide on whether she or he intervenes.
Okay. So you almost have an abridged version. Yeah. Okay. But conceptually, they arrive, they have some kind of screening, some kind of intake, seen by the social worker. In some cases, supervisor's note back to social worker. In some cases, you skip that step, the social worker makes the decision. So generally, we're kind of almost, have the same kind of flow. Okay, so now, what I want you to do, so let's use the longer version. So I want you to sketch this out. So client arrives at security, and you can put the screening, security screening, and then an arrow that goes COVID screening, next block. Next block, put the arrow up there, social officer screening. So that's where the records are created, record of file created, file open. From there they go to the social worker who completes the intake form. The intake form goes to the supervisor The supervisor adds a supervisor note, sends it back to the social worker. The social worker performs a consultation and the social worker refers the client for further social services. Just draw that out. Map it out the way I have. Okay, let me give you a few minutes to do that. Now, if you have an abridged version as well, we can always come back, but let's stick to one, because all I want to do is talk about, reliability in the context of this workflow. Okay? Just use it as an example. Remember, there are three components to reliability. It is the time frame, duration, it is functionality, and it is level of confidence. Okay? Let me know when you're done.
We're done, Prof.
Okay, everybody done? Okay, now what I want you to do is, based on our very, very short introduction session, I want you to take the key thing that happens, the key activity at each step. The key activity, so security screening, COVID screening, registration, completion of intake form, supervisor assessment, supervisory note, social worker consultation, and referral. I want you to take the key function of each one of these. Now imagine that this client is walking through these doors. Okay? There's the security door. When the client walks in, I want the client to see this reliability statement. The client walks out, I want the client to see another reliability statement. For each one of these steps, just get used to, and for now we're making up the numbers. Okay, just come up with numbers in terms of how reliable you think you are. We'll get into the actual data collection and the data leverage, using the actual data to develop real reliability statements. But now I just want you to kind of conceptually get into this idea of putting a reliability statement in each one of these steps based on just the superficial knowledge that you have. Okay, so give it a shot. Remember the three things: time, functionality, level of confidence. Okay? So go ahead. You're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're going to have 5 or 6 reliability statements at each door. Okay, I'm going to give you some time for that. Let me know when you're done. How's it going? Okay, you guys done?
Yes.
Okay. Do the others need some time? This is just supposed to be a, high level, first kind of attempt at developing a reliability statement. When you're done, I know, just say so, then we know how many of you done so we can move on. Okay, good. Who else is done? Okay. Okay, so some of you are done. Who wants to volunteer? Good, excellent, excellent. Okay, let's get some volunteers to read us their reliability statement. Who's going to volunteer? Okay, go ahead.
Prof, can I try?
Yes. Can we get the volume up a bit? Yes, please.
Okay, from the security office, the
Right.
statement that I've tried to come up with is, in the past 5 years, no cases of theft or harm reported.
No cases of theft or harm reported.
No cases of?
Theft or harm reported.
Theft or harm reported.
So 0 cases of theft or harm. This is by the security officer.
Yes.
So you're saying the security officer didn't harm or steal from the client?
No, there were no cases reported.
Oh.
In the organization, sometimes if security doesn't do their job effectively.
Oh, okay, so this is the whole unit.
Remember, the safety of the personnel depends on the functionality of the security at the gate. Because if they don't set the person very well,
Okay. Right. Okay. So 0 incidents over the last 5 years. Okay, good. So that's a reliability. So from an employee or client point of view, when they come in, they see this reliability statement, they immediately know from a safety point of view, they can count on you. Okay? Good. So anybody else has any other security statements here? Yes, go ahead.
The statement would be, your safety is our priority.
Yeah, that's not a reliability statement. I want a reliability statement. Remember timeliness? Go ahead. Yes.
I would focus on the clients where I would be saying for the past 10 years, no client has never been injured or harmed in the vicinity.
Okay. Pretty similar to this one. What else? What about a waiting time for security screening? Anybody? Or you could say 90% of clients are screened within 10 minutes of arrival. Okay? That's a reliability statement. 100% of clients are greeted within 10 seconds of arrival. Okay, remember from last week, client experience from the last module. Okay, you can start building that into your reliability. Okay, good. So that's how you develop it. Is when the client sees that, do you convey the message that you are able to deliver a service or a product or an activity consistently? Do you deliver it the way it should be delivered, and have you been doing it consistently over a period of time? That's what reliability is all about, okay? And it comes from the product, the service, safety, all of these aspects that are important to clients. Good. So what about the COVID screening? Anybody has any reliability statements there?
Prof, can I find out something?
Yeah.
Is it okay to structure your statement in such a way that instead of saying over the past 10 months, you say since 2000 and whatever year that you
Yeah.
choose?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, you can do that. Yeah. But time is an important aspect of reliability. Okay?
Zero infection of COVID-19 since outbreak.
I didn't get that.
Zero infections of COVID-19 since outbreak.
Okay, but that's not, is that at the screener? Somebody, you've arrived there and the person is taking your details and the temperature check. That's what's happening there, isn't it? So what's a reliability statement that you can put out there? So you may have one general kind of wait time related, that all patients are screened within 5 minutes of arrival. It could be, that the documentation is 99% chance that all documentation is completed within 2 minutes, stuff like that. Okay, so if you talk about the COVID rates, that's more general safety metric for the whole organization. We're kind of talking, when you walk into the COVID screening door, what statement should you see in the front there? Okay, so that will relate to wait time, efficiency of the service, and to what extent they complete that service successfully. Okay? Anybody from the screening officer, what reliability statements would you have there in the door for the screening officer?
Can I try?
Yes.
The statement that I can give is 10% of our clients were detected with high temperature and they were retained.
I didn't get that. 10% of clients?
All clients were detected with high temperature.
Okay. 10% of clients with high temperature. But your reliability statement is 100% of patients had temperature correctly checked over 1 year. That's a reliability statement. You see the difference? Because what do you want to leave from the COVID screener? That the person does the work properly. Meaning that the temperature check, 100% of that was correctly done over the last year. Or during the last 200 screenings or whatever it is. Okay? So you got to really kind of understand. The messaging for reliability is the client should leave understanding that they can count on you to do what you're doing well, and that you have a history of doing it well over a period. That's the function and that's the time. Okay?
But then, Prof,
Yeah.
that means each and every office in our department needs to have its own reliability
Yes.
statement.
Because the tasks are different. The tasks are different.
All right. And then whose responsibility is that? Is that the responsibility of the officer occupying that particular
Yes.
and
Yes.
have to be approved
Yes, so the person running the whole operation has to insist that each person at each step collects the data and develops a reliability statement for themselves. Now, you may not publish all reliability statements, especially if they're bad, but at least you can use it for internal consumption to improve. Because remember, this is based on data. We're going to show you how to collect the data to develop the reliability statement. Okay, so if you're only getting the temperature done correctly 3 out of 10 times, you're going to use that to improve your operations, but putting that out in the public domain might not help you. But remember, these things do not happen in the public sector in South Africa. They don't happen in the private sector in South Africa. We have made no effort to communicate to the clients, to the customers, to the public, how reliable we are. And a lot of that is, because we're not reliable or because we're afraid. When I speak to the Department of Health guys, they're afraid to do that. They said there's no way that I can put out a reliability statement assuring a patient who's had a cesarean section that she will not develop an infection in the ward. And I said, well, why can't you do that? Because they say we can't guarantee it. Well, that's the point. You have to be able to guarantee it. It means you have to change the way you actually look after patients in the ward after they've had a Caesar to make sure they don't have an infection. And because you're not prepared to do that, you cannot put out a reliability statement. It blows my mind. Okay? And this is why I wanted this course to focus on high reliability, to create this culture of high reliability in the public sector. It is critical, and we have a responsibility to do that. It helps the public, it helps us to get better. Okay? It helps us to get better. Because if we're at, if we're getting something right 99 out of 100 times, we need to get to 100. If we're getting it right 50% of the time, we need to get to 75 and then to 100. So it means we have to change the way we do things. So to answer your question, the unit leader needs to work with every person leading or involved in each of these steps to craft those reliability statements. Okay? And the clients should be aware of it. The public should be aware of how reliable you are or how unreliable you are. Okay? In fact, when it comes to this whole space, we generally talk about levels of unreliability. Okay? So we'll come back to that. So does anybody have any reliability statements at the social worker screening part of it? So let's assume the registration process. What kind of reliability statement can you put out for that?
99% of clients screened within 10 minutes of arrival.
Okay, good. So 99% of?
Clients.
Of clients screened within 10 minutes of arrival.
Right, good. 99% of clients screened within 10 minutes of arrival. That's excellent. That's a reliability statement. It's powerful. Because you're already saying a lot about how you operate and how you do things. Okay? That's exactly the kind of thing we need. Good. And then you can see, because there are several different tasks that happen there, there's a completion of a file that has to be completed. Forms have to be filled. You can also have reliability statements related to how successfully those forms are completed, how fast and how accurately they're completed. Because it's extremely important. A correct file, the correct filling in of a file is extremely important for the client. So yes.
Because I
You can, but theoretically what we try and do is, client facing, we want the most important one. But from an operations management point of view, we should know how reliable we are with each task. So each one of these steps has several tasks that happen. Okay? From managers and leaders within the organization will require the reliability statement for each one of this, because it's a management tool. It is, we can understand what's happening within this unit, with this step, based on that. But for the client, what does the client want? The client is not worried about every task that you perform. The client is worried about the main outcome. The main outcome here is that they are successfully screened from a safety point of view, and it happens safely and it happens fast. They want to know for COVID that the screening is quick and is accurate. Okay, so what the client is interested in is not necessarily what the manager is interested in. Now, if I take that case of you go to a factory and they say, no injuries in the last 365 days. That is not important to me as a customer. It is important to the person who's managing the factory. What's important to the customer? Not that somebody didn't get hurt, but that their product works the first time, every time, year in and year out. Okay, so you got to balance reliability statements that are client-facing and that are internal and for managerial consumption. Okay? So the key question is, what does the client want at the end of this step? That's your reliability. What does the client want here? What does the client want here? Managers, of course, are important and more data based on the tasks that happen there. Yes? Hi.
Can I to the 99 clients, 99% of clients screen within 10 minutes?
Yes.
I'm thinking for a previous class that we attended,
Yeah.
we were also considering the client's experience.
Yes.
Say 99% clients screened within 10 minutes by friendly staff.
Yes. Excellent. Good. Exactly. That's the way you would do it. Exactly. Now that's very important internally, isn't it, from a manager's point of view? You're right. So the kinds of things we've discussed this in module 1. If I can just erase this section and make sure we focus here. Remember, I drew this graph for you, and I put time, and I put performance, and I put the potential performance gap. And I said in health, that potential performance gap is value, and value comprises 6 to 7 things. Okay, in healthcare, and you actually kind of said, well, in social services it's pretty similar. Okay, we said it is safety, timeliness, efficiency, effectiveness, equitability, patient centricity or experience, and staff experience. Okay, these are the 7 things. So those are you can craft reliability statements around those 7 things. So not just client experience, that 100% of clients are greeted within them being 5 meters away. Or 100% of staff members are rounded on monthly by leadership. Those are all reliability statements. Some of them are for internal consumption, some of them are client-facing. Okay? The key question, as I said, is what reliability statement do you put in the door for the client? What is the client interested in at these steps? That's the one that you put in. Now, if you go as a patient to the ICU, what are you interested in? You're interested in coming out alive. So the reliability statement is going to be that over the last 10 years, 99.9% of our patients have been successfully discharged. That's a reliability statement that's relevant to me as a patient. If I go in for orthopedic surgery for a hip replacement, if I see a statement that says 100% of our patients walk within 5 days of a left hip replacement, I feel good. I feel that I'm in the right place and that you're going to do what you're supposed to be doing. Okay? So it's a very important concept. So we are still conceptually. What I'm trying to say is we now have to make reliability a key part of what we do. Reliability is not marketing. Reliability is data-driven. It is a quantitative phenomenon. Okay? And there's a lot of, and essentially, reliability is about operations management. You can only be highly reliable if you've got the operations to actually support that. Okay? Any questions there? What's the time? Should we take a short break? Any questions? I'll give you a short break and we can come back.
10:25.
Yeah. Any questions? So we are conceptually now talking about reliability. Already within 1 hour, just over an hour, you understand that reliability has got two components, time and function. You also would like to add a degree of confidence. What confidence level, that's a statistical analysis, with what confidence level can you say that this is the level of functionality over that time period? Critical. You would actually start by mapping out what we call this process map. So every process has to be mapped out. Determine what the key activities are in there. Determine what the client wants to achieve at each of these steps, and then collect the data for the reliability statement and put it out there. Remember, the manager is more interested in all of the tasks within that step. Each task would need a reliability statement, and that the manager is going to use to improve operations and improve services. Okay? So we're going to come back to this over and over. The whole idea of this 1.5 hour was to define this concept of reliability and kind of relate it to your activity, and we'll kind of go more into, the numbers part of it and the genesis of this concept of high reliability. Okay, so let's take a, you want a 10-minute break? Is that okay? 10 minutes good for you?
Yes, thank you, Prof.
Okay, so let's take a 10-minute break. It's, what's the time now, Vic?
10:25.
10:25, we'll come back at 10:35. Okay, if you have any questions, we'll come back and start with that. Okay.